Sometimes the moment you pick your baby up fastest is the moment you worry most that you're creating neediness instead. But babies do not experience comfort the way adults imagine. They experience it as safety arriving before panic takes over. And that pattern, repeated during crying, feeding, bedtime, and startling wake-ups, becomes one of your baby's first lessons about life. Not because your baby understands words yet, because your baby is building expectations, and expectations quietly shape the developing brain. If you've ever rushed in, then wondered whether you were doing too much, this video is for that exact moment. Because fast responses are not just about stopping tears. They teach your baby what distress means and whether connection follows. That lesson can change how your baby cries, sleeps, clings, settles, explores, and eventually relates to themselves and other people. And the surprising part is this: your baby is learning something important even before the crying stops, sometimes especially before. In those first seconds, your baby is not grading your parenting. Their nervous system is searching for a safe landing place. A newborn cannot calm from logic, perspective, or self-talk. Regulation begins outside first, through your face, body, and voice. When you respond quickly, your baby does not learn crying gets power. Your baby learns distress does not last forever. That is a radically different message. One creates insecurity and escalation, the other builds trust, recovery, and eventually independent calming. You can see this in everyday moments. A baby startles, cries hard, then softens instantly when hearing the familiar voice. That softening is not manipulation. It is the brain recognizing a cue linked with relief, predictability, and being emotionally held. Parents often notice another version at night. The baby who seemed asleep suddenly cries the second their body touches mattress. It can feel dramatic, even personal. But your baby is not rejecting sleep. They are losing regulation your body provided. Warmth, heartbeat, scent, and movement helped their system stay organized. The still crib is not wrong. It simply feels different. When you come back quickly, you help bridge that change. You teach transitions can feel uncomfortable and still remain safe. That matters because babies live inside transitions. Awake to asleep, calm to hungry, held to laid down, connected to alone. Every transition tests the nervous system. Your response becomes the signal that change is survivable, not catastrophic, inside their body. This is where attachment begins feeling abstract. Attachment is not spoiling. It is your baby learning where safety comes from. Secure attachment does not make babies cling forever. It gives them a base so curiosity has somewhere safe to return. That is why babies look back at you before exploring. They are not checking permission. They are checking emotional weather. Your expression, speed, and tone help answer one huge question. Is this world manageable, or am I alone inside it? A quick response does not guarantee a calm baby every time. Babies are human. They get flooded, tired, hungry, uncomfortable. But consistency changes the story underneath the behavior. The cry may happen, yet the body increasingly expects that help exists. That expectation matters biologically. When stress rises and comfort follows, the baby's stress system starts learning how activation can resolve. Without support, stress can stay hot longer. With responsive care, cortisol spikes are more likely to settle instead of snowball. Translated into real life, your baby is not just crying less sooner. Their whole system is practicing coming back down. And coming back down is one of the skills of childhood. It starts long before a child can explain feelings. This is why fast comfort can actually support independence later. Dependence, when met well, is often how confidence gets built. Think about the baby who cries, gets picked up, settles, then starts scanning the room again with bright, curious eyes. That baby is not becoming weaker through comfort. They are borrowing regulation, then spending it on attention, learning, and play. The opposite surprises parents. A baby left upset too long may go quiet, but quiet does not always mean calm. Sometimes it means shutdown. The body stops protesting because protesting felt useless, not because the need suddenly disappeared inside them. That is one reason quick responses matter. They teach your baby that signals work and communication stays worth attempting again. This shows up early during feeding too. A rooting, squirming baby is not difficult. They are communicating before crying starts. When you notice those smaller cues and respond, your baby learns they do not need to escalate to be understood. That lesson reduces panic later. Being known early is deeply regulating, even for a person too young to describe it. The same thing happens with sleep cues. A baby rubbing eyes, staring away, or getting jerky may need less stimulation. If that baby gets more talking, lights, and bouncing, the nervous system can tip past tired into overwhelmed and frantic. Then parents understandably think they're fighting sleep again, but sometimes the story is simpler. Their brain received too much input. A fast response here might look quieter, not bigger. Dimmer light, softer voice, slower movement, fewer expressions, and less demand. That is still responsiveness. Responsive does not always mean immediate fixing. Sometimes it means reading the overload and lowering intensity. Babies learn from that too. They begin associating your presence not with comfort, but with protection from going too far. This matters during social moments parents love. Smiling at relatives, passing the baby around, hearing everyone say how alert today. Then suddenly the baby turns away, stiffens, arches, or cries. It can look rude, random, or like a mood shift. Usually, it is a threshold. Turning away is a self-protective move, the baby's way of managing too much stimulation. When you notice that quickly and step in, your baby learns that overwhelm can be respected before it becomes distress. That creates emotional safety on a deeper level. Not someone comes when I cry, but someone notices before I collapse. Babies are constantly studying patterns, not with thoughts you can hear, but with nervous system memories you can absolutely feel. Patterns teach timing. If comfort usually comes after long distress, the body prepares for long distress the next time too. If comfort comes sooner, the body begins anticipating relief earlier. That can soften the intensity even before you arrive physically. That is why the same baby may cry differently with different caregivers. Babies learn not only love, but response patterns. One caregiver's quick soothing can bring shorter protests. Another's delayed, frantic, or inconsistent responses can accidentally stretch the storm longer. This is not blame. Every parent gets tired, overwhelmed, touched out, busy, and sometimes slower than they want to be. Babies do not need robotic perfection. They need enough moments of being understood that safety becomes the general emotional climate. In attachment science, repair matters almost as much as responsiveness. Missing a cue is human. Coming back warmly changes everything. Maybe you were in the bathroom. Maybe you needed 10 seconds to breathe. Maybe you snapped, then returned softer afterward. That return teaches something powerful too. Relationships can wobble, then reconnect. Distress is not the end of connection for them. For many parents, the hardest fear is simple. If I answer each cry, will my baby ever self-soothe later? Here is the gentle paradox. Babies usually develop internal calming by first experiencing enough external calming over and over again. Your repeated responses become a template. Eventually, your baby starts doing inside their body what you kept doing outside it. First, your arms organize them. Later, your voice does. Eventually, a phrase, a memory, or a routine begins helping too. That is the game of responsiveness. You are not preventing regulation. You are building the pathway regulation we'll use later. You can hear this long game during toddlerhood. A child whispers, "I need you," then calms faster because you came. That calmer recovery did not begin that day. It began months earlier, in those countless quick answers nobody else noticed. Responsiveness also shapes how babies experience their own feelings. When comfort comes, feelings feel survivable instead of endlessly consuming them. That changes more than crying. It influences frustration, waiting, separation, surprise, and even the confidence to try something unfamiliar later. A baby who trusts repair often explores with more freedom. The world feels less like a threat, more like information. That is why quick responses are not just emotional. They are cognitive. Safety frees attention. Learning needs that room too. When babies stay overwhelmed too long, they cannot absorb much. Survival takes the stage. Curiosity quietly leaves the room then. So yes, your quick response may help tonight's crying, but it is also shaping tomorrow's learning, trust, and resilience too. Now here is the part many exhausted parents miss. Responding quickly does not always mean instantly solving the problem either. Sometimes your baby keeps crying in your arms. That does not mean your response failed. It means regulation is happening. A crying baby being held is having new experience from a crying baby alone. The outside looks similar, inside differs. One baby is distressed and connected. The other is distressed and disconnected. That difference can shape the memory of stress. Your baby does not need you to erase every feeling. Your baby needs companionship through feelings they cannot process alone. That is the heart of co-regulation. You lend your steadier nervous system until your baby can borrow it more. And babies borrow from everything: your breathing pace, muscle tension, eye softness, voice melody, timing, and confidence all carry information. This is why picking up a crying baby while feeling panicked can help somewhat, but calm presence changes the result. Babies are exquisitely sensitive to state, not just action. They notice whether your body says, "I can handle this safely." That does not mean you must feel serene every time. It means your baby benefits when you slow yourself too. One deep breath before you reach in can matter. A softer jaw, lower shoulders, and slower voice can matter too. Because your baby is not only receiving care, your baby is receiving an entire emotional environment through that care too. This becomes especially visible during separation. The daycare drop-off cry, the car seat protest, the bathroom door meltdown too. Parents often think those moments prove dependence got worse. Often they actually prove your baby formed an expectation of connection. The protest says, "I know what safety feels like, and I notice when it changes." That awareness is attachment working. With time, repeated reunions teach the other half. Separation happens, and connection returns. The story becomes longer than the moment. That is why goodbye rituals help so much. Predictable steps turn a confusing rupture into a pattern with an ending. Quick responses also shape how babies feel about their own signals. If signals bring connection, signals feel worth trusting later. That matters for hunger, fullness, fatigue, fear, and even joy. Babies begin learning whether inner cues deserve attention from others. A baby whose needs are answered does not become self-centered. They become better acquainted with need, relief, and relationship. Later, that foundation can support empathy. Children who experience dependable comfort often recognize distress sooner because distress was never invisible. Another hidden lesson lives inside your timing. When you respond quickly, you help your baby connect cause, feeling, and relief. That early connection is the beginning of meaning. I felt something hard. I signaled. Something changed. The world responded back. When response is very delayed, the sequence blurs. The baby still feels distress, but the relief feels less connected. That is one reason babies can escalate so fast. Their body is not dramatic. It is trying harder to register. Seen that way, quick responsiveness is not indulgence. It is efficient communication support before your baby has words or patience. Parents feel this most intensely during cluster feeding, witching hour, or evenings that unravel without any obvious reason at all. Those evenings can make loving parents feel helpless. You feed, rock, bounce, walk, sing, and nothing seems to solve it. But something important may still be happening. Your baby may be discharging stimulation, fatigue, digestive discomfort, and accumulated stress physically. Your quick response there may not stop the crying immediately. It may prevent your baby from feeling alone inside overwhelm. That distinction is enormous. Reducing crying is helpful. Preventing aloneness during crying can be even more developmentally important for babies. And parents feel the difference too. One moment feels like failure. The other feels like staying with baby through truth. That shift protects you from a damaging myth. Good parenting is not always getting silence. Often it is offering steadiness. Babies also learn from the quality of your attention. Quick but distracted care feels different from emotionally present care too. If your hands are there, but your face is absent, your baby may settle physically yet keep searching relationally still. That is why eye contact can feel so powerful. Your baby is not just seeing eyes, they are seeing availability. A soft face tells the baby, "I am with you in this." Presence becomes part of the soothing, not decoration. The same goes for voice. Babies do not only hear words, they hear rhythm, warmth, confidence, and emotional contour too. That sing-song reassurance parents use naturally is not silly. It is a nervous system tool, and babies respond deeply. You may notice your baby calming faster when you narrate softly, not because they understand language, but because rhythm organizes. Even a phrase repeated often can become a cue. Over time, your voice starts carrying prediction before your hands arrive. That is how routines gain emotional power. They are not magic schedules. They are sequences that make life feel knowable. A bath, dim lights, feeding, rocking, same phrase, same song. Repetition tells the brain, I know what comes next now. And knowing what comes next lowers defensive alarm. Predictability is a form of safety, especially for a brain new here. This is also why sudden changes can hit babies hard. A new room, louder house, travel, visitors, different timing suddenly. Adults adapt using explanation. Babies adapt through sensation. If life feels unfamiliar everywhere, your response becomes even more important there. You become the familiar pattern inside an unfamiliar day. That is one reason babies often cling more during change periods. Clinginess can look like regression. Sometimes it is actually intelligence. Your baby.